Welcome to Spintown, everyone. I am here inside the Big Cobble Bitch. Actually, I'm in my little house, which is in the Big Cobble Bitch. But I wanted to apologize for there not being a video challenge with the previous video. Thank you, Sickness. But I didn't really feel it was appropriate given the topic of the video, and I did not feel that writing ads or anything on that video was appropriate. If you watched the video, you would understand why. But I will have a video challenge for you today, and I will look up who the winner was in the previous video challenge and put the winner in the description below, and all the normal stuff I do for these videos. Today's video is going to be a preview of the American Gladiator stuff that I have been working on for the past couple months. I haven't had a ton of time to build lately because I've been working 2 jobs and running SpinTunes, but I have done quite a bit as far as the Gladiator stuff goes, and it's ready to start recording with. I have God mode on so I can fly around and show you all the obstacles that I have built. This right here is the maze, and it is the first of the obstacles that I recreated in American Gladiators, or events, whatever you want to call them. The competitors would start on this side, and they have to get all the way out on the other side. I copied this maze I copied it exactly from one of the mazes that they used in this show. There was absolutely no difference. But then after I had ran it a couple times, I wanted to make it a little bit harder, so I moved 2 walls, 2 small sections. I added like a total of 4 blocks, I think. So it is a little harder than the one on the show. And these little this little blue section, this little red section, the light blue section, and the white section over here, those are gladiator zones. There will be a gladiator sitting in each of those areas, and when a competitor walks by, the gladiator is allowed to punch and block their path. They are not allowed to leave their little zone, though. Once the competitor gets by, the gladiator cannot chase them. There is a time limit that what the show had. I will probably give the competitors a little bit longer than the show because my version's a little bit harder. But we'll see. I don't know exactly how long I'll give them yet. This right here is a jousting platform. Gladiator here, competitor here. And they try to punch each other off. I don't have pugil sticks or any equivalent in Minecraft, so punching is all we'll be able to do. This is Breakthrough from Breakthrough and Conquer, which is over there. The competitor has to start here, and they have to try to score a touchdown in the end zone right there. The gladiator will start right here, and they will try to push the competitor out of bounds before they get into the end zone. Since you can't tackle in Minecraft like they do in American Gladiators, I might add a second gladiator in here to make this just a little bit harder, because I think the Minecraft version will be a little easy. In Conquer, over here, the Conquer Ring, the gladiator will start off right here, the competitor will start off next to them, and the competitor has 10 seconds to try to knock the gladiator out of the ring. If they are able to do that, they win. If they don't win. But you'll notice that it is raised up in my version. In American Gladiators, at one point, the Conquer Ring was raised up, and then one of the gladiators, I believe it was Gold, blew out her knee when she stepped off of this while in the process of competing, while she was wrestling with one of the competitors in the ring. And she stepped off, her knee blew out, and her career as a gladiator was pretty much over. After that happened, they lowered the Conquer Ring to ground level. So here we are at the gauntlet. The competitors will start right here, and in each blue section, there will be a gladiator trying to block their path from getting all the way to the end of the gauntlet. If the gladiators can hold the competitor off until the time limit expires, the gladiators win. Or if the gladiators can push the competitor out of the gauntlet and they go over the edge, the gladiators win. If the competitor gets all the way through under a certain time limit, they get points. Over here we have the pyramid, which needs to be beta tested, and Breakthrough and Conquer really needs to be beta tested a little bit as well. And by that I just mean I need to get a couple Scottlanders on here and play around with these things so I know how to adjust the difficulty for the video with Zack. This right here, I am planning on having one gladiator start here, one gladiator start here, just like in the show, competitor here, competitor here. The gladiator up top on this side will be assigned to the competitor on this side. This is the only person this gladiator is allowed to try to block their pathway, the pathway of. But the competitor has to try to get to the top of this while the gladiator punches them and tries to knock them down. And if they can get up here and hit their button, which will make their wool go up in a certain amount of time, the competitor wins. Now, I might have to have 2 gladiators for each competitor. Again, I might have to adjust the difficulty by making it a little unfaithful to the show, but I'd rather it be competitive than completely faithful to the show. So we'll see. I'll play around with this, but I think it'll work out pretty well after I test it a little bit more. Over here we have the wall, and I can't make a rock climbing wall, so we have a ladder climbing wall. It's fairly difficult. I will probably give Zack and the Gladiators and whoever Zack's racing against a little practice time before we do this. But a competitor over here, and a gladiator behind each one. When the referee says go, the competitors take off. 10 seconds later, the gladiators take off after them. If you get to the top of the wall first, you get 10 points. If you make it up second, you get 5 points. The gladiator knocks you off the wall by punching you off. You don't get any points. Or if you just fall off, you don't get any points. If you manage to fall and catch yourself on a lower ladder, you can take off back up the wall. You're fine. You just still got to beat the time limit. Over here, we have Assault, which is one of my favorite events from the show. I really would have loved to do this in real life. But the competitor starts right here. When the referee says go, they got to try to run over here without getting shot by the gladiator, who will be on that platform shooting arrows at you. Once you get right here, you're allowed to open this chest, take out 1 snowball, and you get to try to hit that target with the snowball. If you hit the target, you win. If you miss, you still get 1 point for firing the weapon. And at each station, there is a different weapon on the show, and generally this was usually the crossbow station. And then after you fire the crossbow, you would run over here, and you would fire the bazooka. And again, the competitor would take out 1 snowball, throw it, then move on to the next station. And what I think I'm going to do, because it's really hard for the gladiators to shoot this far with a bow and arrow, I might have 2 gladiators shooting until the competitor reaches this station. And then once they reach this station, I would just make it 1 gladiator shooting, which shouldn't be too bad. I think the difficulty level would be about right for that. But over here, we would have the cannon. They would take out a snowball, try to hit the target, run over here, pistol, 1 more shot, and if you still missed it with the pistol, you have 1 more shot to try to hit the target. You would come over here and pick up 3 snowballs, because at this station in the show there was 3 hand grenades that the competitors could pick up and try to toss over at the target. And if your aim is still bad and the gladiator has still not hit you, you can try to cross the finish line for 1 extra point, which is right over here. If you do that, you get a point for each station and a point for crossing the finish line. If you hit the target, it's 10 points. In the show, they obviously didn't fire crossbows at you. They had a giant air cannon and that had tennis balls in this big circular tube around it that would shoot out at you at 100 miles an hour. And if I remember correctly, they loved saying the fact that it would shoot tennis balls at 100 miles an hour at the competitors. So, yeah, we're using arrows instead of tennis balls. What's next? Guess I'll show you Powerball next, then the Eliminator. And there's Hangin' Tough, which is an event from this show that I think I have an idea for. I can't really make it too true to the show, but I think I have something that would remain in the spirit of the contest. So I might build Hangin' Tough over in this corner over there. Might actually do that later tonight. But this is Powerball. And in Powerball, the competitor would start off right here, another competitor on the other side. Then you would have a gladiator here, a gladiator guarding the middle area, and then a gladiator over there in front of the other chest. On the referee's say, the competitor would take off with 1 ball that is their color. Like if you were the blue competitor, you take a blue ball. We don't have balls, but we have blocks of wool. So if I'm the blue competitor, I take a blue block of wool, and then I would try to run over here. And instead of placing it in cylinders like they had on the show, I would place it inside this, on top of the yellow block right here. And if I'm able to do that without the gladiator knocking me out of bounds, or without the gladiator slowing me down or making me miss, I get a point. If I'm able to put it in the middle, I get 3 points. Yeah, and then after I place my block, or after I get knocked out of bounds, or if I miss my placement, I have to run to the alternate side and pick up another one. you can never go back to the same side twice in a row. So if I miss right here, I can't go back here. I have to go all the way back across. And this event generally lasts at 45 seconds to a minute. And since the gladiators can't tackle, I might have 4 gladiators instead of 3 to kind of give the gladiators a little bit of help, because they're at a disadvantage inside of Minecraft. But after somebody places a block here, they can place another one on top of it as long as it's immediately over the yellow block. I think you can stack 4 of them here on top of each other, so you can score 4 times in each scoring bin. In the show, you can get a lot more in each cylinder than I can inside these little scoring bins. But again, I can't be completely faithful to the show within Minecraft. Right here, I'm going to run you through the Eliminator really quick. Right here's the start. And on this show, they would have a section where the gladiators would swing medicine balls at the competitors as they tried to go across the balance beam. If it wasn't medicine balls, they also had a section where they would swing big, heavy punching bags at the competitors. Since we don't have medicine balls or punching bags, there would be a gladiator on each pedestal over here. And they will be given like maybe 2 snowballs, and they will try to knock you off with snowballs. If they do knock you off, you go down here into soul sand, and it makes you go a lot slower, so it's kind of like a penalty. In the show, a lot of times, if you would fail at an event in the Eliminator, you would have to go down there and take like a 5-second penalty that a gladiator would enforce. I'm not going to make the gladiators do that. That's what the soul sand is for. Next, you would come over here, jump into the water, jump back out, then you would jump into the water again and go all the way over here and come out. You would climb up the ladders, climb over here, climb up the ladders, and then you would go into this tunnel right here that I made. A lot of these events are ripped off from the show American Gladiators. A lot of these events have been like things that I've replicated from other YouTube videos I've seen, and this one I thought of all by myself, and I think it works pretty good. I don't really want to give anything away on it, but I really hope that people die in the video, because people have been dying a lot in testing, which is awesome. This right here is another part of the Eliminator that gladiators will participate in. There will be 3 gladiators under each row right here, and as you're trying to cross the dirt right here, they will try to dig the dirt out from under you and make you fall. If you fall into soul sand, and it slows you down. So again, the soul sand is is the penalty, and you don't get like a timed penalty. Once you reach the end right here, if you have to climb up through the soul sand ladder there, you climb the ladders, and you climb this ladder over here. And then you climb this. And at this point, we've went up twice. Now, whether we are going up to a new level or just moving on to another section, I try to make everything a little bit difficult or a little bit of an obstacle. I don't want you to just be able to walk to something. I want you to have to climb, jump, or avoid stuff, okay? So even instead of having a ladder that just goes straight up, I had to make this a little bit more difficult, something to make you think. Even though it's not really hard, it's very simple. But it's still something that you can't just do willy-nilly, without thinking. You can't just run and sprint to something. Right here is the next obstacle. You'll see the sign up there I haven't mentioned yet, but we have a sign that says save state after each event inside the Eliminator. And when you see one of those, you're allowed to go in front of it and set home. That way, if you die during the obstacle, you can go right back to the start of it after you die. I really hope Zack and whoever is competing against him take advantage of that, because this is going to be a very long video if Zack tries to do it all at once. He's going to die a lot. But anyways, you run through the lava, and I have God mode on. That'll be a little bit harder for whoever is competing in this, because they will not be allowed to have God mode. But after you get through the lava, you got to get across all this water and broken glass. And then you got a little bit of a jumping puzzle. Very simple. There's only 2 difficult jumps. And then this, I call it the Zack Scott Pacers, because it's what he does best. He paces this type of jump all the time. Then he'll go up the ladder. Whoa! Double click the button, didn't mean to. Up the ladder, then he has to go up and around, up and around, up and around until he gets to here. And then there would be pistons that are pushing these blocks out randomly as he tries to cross this little section here. A lot of people seem to die right here. I don't find it all that difficult, but some people do. Right here we have mine carts in a track. You are not to ride the mine carts. You have to push these mine carts up the hill and stop them next to the block of your color. In the show, they had a section at the very start of the Eliminator at times where you had to push a giant medicine ball up a hill and put it in a little container. We don't have medicine balls in Minecraft, but we have mine carts, so that's what I did. When they get up here and place their mine carts against the blocks like they should, they are to take one shovel and one pickaxe out of the chest right here, and the blue competitor has to pick a blue tunnel, the red competitor a red tunnel, and they dig their way through this section right here. I'm not going to say what they might find along the way, but each tunnel is different. One red and one blue one is the same, but each of the two reds are different and each of the two blues are different. So depending on what one they choose, their path may be a little easier, a little harder, and on the way they are not allowed to break smooth stone. No smooth stone breakage in this course. When they get to the end right here, they are to get a boat out of the chest, and they are just simply to go around the big horseshoe. And when they get to the end and break their boat on the edge right here, they have to jump there, jump here, and then right here, there is going to be a block that comes in and out. Okay, recording. In and out. You have to jump on this block to get to this one, and then these two blocks are going to be going in and out with the piston much faster, and they have to land on this to get across. Once they get across, they got to go in this door, come out this door here. I'm not going to tell you what's in there. You'll see that in the video. Once they come out the door, they climb up the waterfall. This isn't as hard as I would like it to be because I would like the lava to be falling right here where this block is, but I cannot do that, or it just makes a cobble mess, I found out. But this is still kind of okay. Making a preview video of AG. And anyways, once they get to the top of the little waterfall here, they come over here, up the ladder, up the ladder, up the ladder, up the ladder, until they get here. And I'm not going to show you exactly how this is done, but they got to go all the way across here. Let's not let that give anything there away. And once they land here, walk over to the next event, which is this lava tunnel. And there will be blocks from the floor that are going to push you up into the lava ceiling as you try to get this with pistons. I have all this stuff turned off right now. When we record, all of it will be turned on. But yeah, this part can be pretty difficult. And they will come out the tunnel here, go up the ladders, then they will swim across this water section here. And the water is all kind of messed up, so it like pushes you into the fire in a lot of places if you're not careful. And then you have to jump through the water, land on this block, and this next section right here, there will be water falling right there. And there's pistons up there to make the water fall in like chunks. It's going to be intermediately like falling. It won't be a constant stream. So that's a little bit harder than the first jump. And from this point, you're almost done. There's another save state like there is after each one. And the last thing you have to do before the final leap is get across this soul sand path right here. And there's something about this soul sand path that I don't want to give away, so I'm just going to kind of look that way. And now the finish is just right here in front of the American Gladiators logo, which is just like I want it to be. And you see the logo out in front of you. The finish line is right there. The red, white, and blue target is your finish line. If you can jump from right here, land in the blue, and survive, and be the first one to do it, you are the grand champion of American Gladiators Scotland Edition. Hopefully it's a lot of fun. Took a lot of time to build, a lot of thought into the obstacles on the Eliminator because I couldn't recreate the original Eliminator. There's just no way to do a lot of that stuff, like the zip line. and the medicine balls and the punching bags. And just a lot of the stuff just couldn't be remade. So I decided to remake my own, and honestly, you can probably tell by looking at it from afar that it's kind of inspired by Mario 64. Just the way it's a kind of platformy and everything. It looks kind of like a Mario 64 boss level when you're right before you fight Bowser. So yeah, that's kind of what I was going for. I hope you guys watch all these videos on Zack's channel when we compete. After I do the videos on Zack's channel, I really want to edit together a video using his footage and maybe Ashley's footage and my own footage into one long hour episode of American Gladiators. Put that on my channel. And I will have people playing like Mike Adamley and Larry Zonka, the two hosts of the show. I have two people picked out that are willing to kind of like play those parts. They'll be like the announcers in the video. And that'll be neat. I'm not going to be the one that runs the course in the competitive video. I'm going to be the referee, which is kind of, you know, makes sense because there needs to be somebody to keep score and explain the rules. And since I built it and know all that stuff, that should be me. And I have like 8 skins or 9 skins, maybe even more than that made. I have a ton of Gladiator skins that some of my followers and Zack's fans made for me. I have the referee skin, Larry Thompson. I have the 2 host skins. I have a competitor skin, a male competitor skin. I have a female competitor skin. So, yeah, if we can get like 10 people online one night, that would be awesome. We can do all this all at once, and yeah, it'd be a lot of fun. But keep an eye out on Zack's channel for the American Gladiator stuff coming up. I will post a couple more American Gladiator videos on this channel, hopefully an hour-long episode, and then I might see if I can run through the entire course without dying once and put that on my episode, but that's going to take a lot of practice, because even though I built this, it's hard as fuck, and I could have made it a lot harder if I wanted to, but I actually did make a lot of these kind of easy, because let's face it, I knew Zack was going to be the one running it, and, you know, it could take Zack maybe 50 videos to complete this if I make it too hard. He'll be lucky to get this done in an hour is what I'm saying. I would take up like a poll, or not a poll, but, you know, we ought to see who can guess how long it's going to take Zack to finish this. If I was to guess and I had first guess, I would say about an hour. So, how long do you think it'll take Zack to finish this? That could be your video challenge for today. Post in the comments how long you think it'll take Zack to run the Eliminator on his channel. Anyways, thanks for watching. I appreciate your time. Goodbye.